Welcome to Rajiv Gandhi Center of Advanced Technology, a specially designed IT finishing school and plus an institution, the Center of Excellence being prepared to prepare our young people, youth, and mid-career professionals as well to develop them as productive citizens capable of solving society's problems. Now, RCAT is a leading national platform in emerging technology training and capacity development, initiated by Honorable Chief Minister Sri Ashok Gehlot ji. Today, we are having a webinar to earmark the birthday of International Telecommunication Union, which is the nodal agency of United Nations. For last 1 year, they are observing and celebrating how technology can be useful for our older adults. This webinar is convened with the support of our Executive Director, Madam Mrs. Jyoti Luhadia ji, and our manager and also Joint Director at DOITC, Madam Vinita Srivastava ji. I welcome our distinguished panelists, where we have representation across sector, academia, industry, and startups. At the outset, I would like to thank you everyone for joining, and I hand it over to Subhas Vasist ji to take it forward with his keynote address. Over to Subhas ji.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Kapil Khan. First of all, this is an honor to. Is I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, I really feel delighted to be part of the session on digital technology for aging population. And in this regard, I'm really thankful for Rajasthan government, RCAT, for inviting me and my colleagues on the dash. Thank you very much, everybody, actually, to be part of this great initiative in understanding on the medical technology, especially for aging population on the subject. So with this, what I can do is I have some slides, where I can quickly take you guys actually on this subject. We'll give more insight actually on that, especially on the digital technology and medical devices, to how we are able to support aging population in this field from EMF point of view. Let me actually start, first of all, on the global digital burden and pharma R&D spend, because this is important to understand why we are talking about, on this subject actually. If you see from the left side, healthy lives, basically the disease burden, the neuro, cardiovascular, cancer are the three top global disease burden are still there. Although I don't have actually slide here, but if you see on the cardiovascular, all the global chart on diseases is coming down, means actually it's still coming under control, but still certain diseases, especially I'm talking about cancer, sensitive organs, and diabetics. Some area is still a big concern, and obviously for the aging population, it's more concern. Now in this field, if you see on the right side of the graph, more than 50% of pharma company and medical device company are spending where they are spending their money on cancer, infection diseases. Everybody knows actually what happened during the COVID. And this is not the end of infection diseases. There might be actually again, as a world, we are in a similar situation in coming time possible. Hopefully, we should not, but then the other diseases like, neuro, is furthermore actually this many. Although actually, like you see actually the list on respiratory and, CBD, they are all, but I think the top three are, these are the major issues. If you see in this graph, if you are able to follow the graph, with the age, let's say about after 60 of the age, you can see the arthritis, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, COPD, and asthma. These are the area of concerns for aging population. Once actually the population start catching up 45 to 65, these are the major concerns actually over health for the aging population. On the right side, I try to further, give more detail on these diseases. But I think more or less actually as in India also, on overall disease burden for the aging population, the similar kind of a trend we see in India. Now the point is, with all these diseases, if you see the global picture, the brain, cancer, infection disease, and chronic disease, what is changing in the world? Basically, on these major diseases, there's a new technology is being developed, either in computing, connecting, analyzing, and genomics. This is what is actually the interconnecting connectivity which is happening actually through various applications, various medical devices, various pharma. From that standpoint, just give you the heads up that what is the unresolved problems in medicine or in the diseases at this point in time in the world. Now let's come to the specific to aging population, aging index. Now, if you see, especially in Asia Pacific, although actually I could have compared this aging index to the globe, but I try to focus it only for Asia Pacific. And you see in Asia Pacific, our overall index, and how we work out the indexes, basically on the income security for the aged population, health status, capability, how we are able to handle those health issues, and how we enable environment for aging population. So our actually overall rank is 71. We are not, we are almost actually similar like Nepal, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Mongolia. So the point which I'm making is we are still far, far, far away from the developed country like Japan or European country, which I'm talking about. So we have a huge gap in India on these fronts. I'm giving a few examples, like when we say enabling environment, even our building design at this point in time, they are not actually friendly designed for elderly aging people. I'm giving a very small example. Take the example of health status. Not only in India, the gap actually in the medical device technology, how we are handling health aging people, from a procedure point of view, from a application point of view, from a disease point of view. Still, we have actually if you see our research or our data or our technology, more focused actually on these diseases, and there is a specific possibility of solution which is about, say, in the age group of from the birth. Yes, from the birth it is there. The technology point of view is much better. From the birth till, let's say, 45 to 50, we don't have. We still have a gap, but still address the issue for that issue. But how to handle actually beyond, we don't have. An example of during COVID situation, the mental stress on aging population was immense. Nobody knows actually how to handle those issues. Take an example of if the two elderly people are staying in an apartment, there was no mechanism system how you can avail healthcare facility sitting at home. Although later on certain technology is able to address those issues, and in India our situation was better, but this is a just very initial stage of finding those gaps actually, and I'm not able to describe the technicality of those medical devices which are not there at this point, right? But the gap is huge. Now, this situation we faced, let's say in 2020, where the aging population in the world is about 10%. Currently, 10 to 12%. Now, the point is, the estimate is that in 2050, the estimated population will be roughly 22%. So it means the population mass is going to increase, similar like China, if you see in the graph. It means that complete design, actually, whether it's medical device, whether it's a procedure, whether it's a pharmaceutical, whether it's whether it's a building design, whether it's a hospital design, whether it's a you think about anything end to end actually in the medical technology. The elderly population in the designing of the medical device or the formulation automations, which is a big task in the time. It means the change which is happening in the world from, let's say, 10% to 22%, it means that is going to bring a completely different perspective of managing health for our elderly people in Calcutta. Now, let me focus actually in India. What are the key drivers? Definitely, in India at this point in time, life expectancy is about 70 years. Income is rising, senior citizen is rising, number of diabetic is rising in India. I think we are now world's capital. Human diseases are rising up in India. With these drivers, it means in coming time, we need to remodify our need for India basis on actually some of these key drivers which is changing in our societies, which is driving actually all these innovation. And that's why we are talking about in a big way medical device development in India in a big way. When we talk about medical device, globally might be possible that medical devices is increasing on the left side with a CAGR of 5.2%. But in India, if you see the Indian perspective, it is going by 12%. And 12% is understated in my opinion, as actually the government is going to open up more and more insurances. Like our Prime Minister is very committed. This government very committed on Ayushman Bharat, and making medical devices in India, make in India, and to become the Atmanirbhar Bharat for India. So all those perspectives, our growth at this moment is estimated of 12%, but I'm sure that it's going to be much more. Now, at this point in time in India, in the whole world, we are nowhere actually, in the medical revenue point of view from the medical devices. You can see our graph. US, China, France, Germany, they are really leading, and we are nowhere. If you see the per capita income, per capita spend for medical devices in India is about less than $3 per capita, against global average of 50, and against actually like we try to compare with China. China is about $200 per capita. That means this big gap we need to fill, and just not only fill this gap, we also need to adjust with the aging population. Now, why there is so much focus in India? Because India is very promising market at this point in time, growing market. We have more than 100 billion of hospital industries, more than 10 billion of diagnostic lab industries. Currently 11 million medical devices, but if you see on 2047, our vision, this figure itself is going to change to 50 million medical device market, which we are estimating. And then healthcare insurance is the direct employment opportunity for healthcare. And these projections are current projections. The way actually India development is happening, my personal perspective is that we are going to surpass all these at least in the estimation of time. And I'm quoting these all figure from NITI so, published by NESCOM. This is not actually a third company estimate, this is the government estimate. And similar way, because income is increasing, elderly age is increasing, affordability is increasing in India. So similar way, the expenditure also is increasing. If you see from the government itself, the government, their own spend on the healthcare is going to go, is increasing in coming time. And that's what actually is going to make a big change. Now, this is what I was talking about and why we are focusing medical device at this point. Because at this point, we are spending less than $4 per capita against the global average of 50 and against 100, roughly about 180 or $200 per capita of China. And this gap actually we need to fill. With this minimal spending, we are importing 80%, which is close to 70,000 crore per annum. We are importing in a big way, and that import has to reduce if we start manufacturing in India. And that's what the whole focus at this point. India is importing, US and Germany and China, Singapore, Netherlands, these are the countries that are importing. But very interesting, and this is what I think our clear focus is. When we see from the all vertical of medical device, whether it's consumable, disposable, electronics, implants, IVD, surgical instrument, the biggest segment which we import is electronics equipment. And that's where the focus which we are trying to put up. Now, India has come out with as a policy last 2 weeks on the overall medical devices. And what actually our vision is that we are going to be among the 5th largest global manufacturing hub for the global manufacturing. And if with this kind of perspective, there is a big opportunity for innovation and manufacturing of medical devices. And that's how actually, India is setting up 5 medical parks. India is spending actually on like RIL university, which is specifically going to be more on medical devices and technologies. Now, one subject out of whole gamut of medical devices, one part of the medical devices or part of medical electronics I'm talking is digital technology that's put in a health management. Now, the point is, if we see, and what is happening, as I mentioned to you, still the gap in the medical technology is very big because we haven't really started focusing in this area. This is a very new concept which start coming up actually post-COVID, and furthermore actually development, furthermore innovation is happening. But yes, at this point in time, there are 3 major area of digital technology for aging population. What is it? Preparing for the age and longevity. Monitor and controlling is the second, and live healthy life for the older adults is the third one. So these are the 3 brackets which we talk about it, and it starts from the financial freedom, stability. Because in India, basically social security is an issue for elderly people. Now the point is how we address this issue, how we really come out with the different financial systems or different financial investment plans, so that actually there should be a stability, more and more stability of financials for the elderly. This is one subject. And in this area is also, there's a lot of things which is happening and which is actually is emerging at this point in time. This is one area of focus in coming time. AI and digital markets are part of actually many projects at this point in time with the government of India, and we see that how we are able to use AI and digital markers, to identify diseases much earlier, much earlier. And this is like one of the examples I'm telling you, even for qualifying actually vaccines these days, that you actually take, you basically, what do you call it? The vaccination, you see the impact of vaccination through different imaging technology and extrapolate with AI to conclude the research. And this is how actually we are able to develop globally for all our vaccine faster and able to approve these things. And these technology is really going to stay along for basically for providing solution in advance. So this is actually the subject which we are talking about. Now, monitoring health and status. At this point in time, take an example of by implementing India's Ayushman Bharat. Now, to put in one hospital for 100 bags, it required 300 crores. The government of India is not able to spend actually, or no government is able to spend in each village that much amount. Then it means that we need to have the hub hospitals and the satellite hospitals and the health monitoring systems connecting healthcare professionals. This is only the model which is going to emerge in countries. And that's how we are able to reach through villages, small towns and all this. So this is another area of, like home healthcare. At this point in time, people can stay at home, maybe connected with the hospital through actually these app and through these actually applications to get for any emergency, for getting actually advice directly from the professionals. Similar way, affordable healthcare, sensory decline. So I'm not actually getting into each technology in that much detail, but what is happening? That these are the technology, whether it is then connecting with the older adults, digital platform I talk about, mobility and transfer. Take an example of a very small thing like hiring Uber that facilitate a lot at this point in time. If elderly people is staying and if there's an emergency, he can actually book a cab through a mobile app. Now, similar way, there are other apps actually which can improve the overall mobility of elderly, and that's what actually we're talking about. Now, if we see the overall digital health technology at this point, which is about close to 650 billion, we are expecting by 2026. I think in the healthcare technology, I was mentioning that together it is about 12%, but especially digital health technology, which itself is growing by more than 22%. This is the area, this is the field actually where is going to be more focused from that standpoint. And if I see only the technology which is more focused on elderly care technology, which is about 11 billion, not small market, still is a very big market out of 640 billion market, which is also growing 7% globally. And India is again growing by more than 12%. So these are actually the technology which I talk about, whether it's telemedicine, remote monitoring, wearable devices, mobile application, social media communication. Take an example of elderly people staying home at this point in time in the situation of COVID. they're not able to interact and other things. Social media platform really help actually getting people to still connecting with their society, still connecting with their leaders. So these things is also actually helping. Virtual reality, playing healthy games for the elderly people is going to be furthermore helpful. Internet of Things, there is a lot of opportunity, a lot of actually great things happening in this field, and especially on the elderly people is more and more actually complex. And we talk about it and artificial intelligence talk about it. I actually in this slides I try to mention actually how the business is also shaping up that to give you the flavor that how actually these technology is growing and whether these technology are still going to grow or still not going to grow. Take the example of AI is growing by 42% CAGR, and that makes a huge difference actually in the growing field of the technology, especially in the medical area. Now we talk about actually. I earlier also I mentioned that healthcare is a major direct job creator, which is actually applicable to India and which is actually going to create a big jobs, direct jobs in India from that standpoint. Yes, we talk about the medical device sector's policy, some of actually, the mission of the policy, which has been published by the government. But here, I only would like to mention is the main aim is that India became manufacturing and innovation medical hub, fifth top hub actually by achieving our targets in the next 25 years. And this is what we're talking about. In next 25 years, we as a medical device, which we are importing currently roughly about 75% we are importing. And we have market share roughly about 3 to 4%. But with this, we are able to take global 12% market share actually in the globe. And this is a big ticket item for India to make India autonomous for this thing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And if any questions, I'll be happy to address. And in any way, we will be part of our discussions. And any questions in the discussion also will be able to help give more insight actually into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Subhashji. It is great to have that broad overview of the medical technology sector, where artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, robotics, all of them are getting integrated. And RCAT, as a technology capacity development institute, looking at young people and also training startups in this sector, is very keen to understand how IMED is taking it forward. An Association of Indian Medical Device Industry, which kindly through you has agreed to be the knowledge partner with this webinar. We are very thankful to you. Given your decades of experience across the world, what you have brought is in a snapshot, understanding of how the medical device sector is working broadly and also what opportunities are there for our older adults. Thank you, Subhashji, for that keynote address, setting the tone for this webinar. We have Jyoti ma'am, who has joined now. Ma'am, are we audible to you? Ma'am, we'll come back to you if we're not audible to you now. Jyoti ma'am is our Executive Director of RCAT. RCAT, for all of your information, was launched on August 20th, 2022. So as a national baby, in 8 months' time, we have taken several strides. And we are very keen to become one of the world's preeminent institute in IT, emerging and advanced technology industry. I will be, it is an opportunity and a privilege to connect to Rama Venugopal ma'am. I would like to briefly introduce her work. More than 3 decades of work she has been doing in this sector. Executive Director of value-added corporate services, a management consultant of reputation, offering a wide range of consulting solutions to various industries in manufacturing, healthcare, IT, and ITS, on management systems consulting, strategic advice services, and several of them. Especially, we're interested in understanding how do you see the sector emerging. As you have seen, Vasishtha has given a broad overview of the medical device sector. Our intention is to also look at our young people who are joining this webinar. They are keenly interested how they themselves can contribute to the sector. And how do you see? I would just like to make last sentence here before I give the floor to you, ma'am. Uh, there is enough focus on young people, children, but I do see that not enough focus on technology integration of older citizens. And we take different names: older adults, senior citizens, elderly. Suhashi says that now aging population will be right word, appropriate word in this context. Over to you, ma'am, for your insight, what you think. You would have 5, 6 minutes to make your initial comment. So the panel discussion starts after Basish's keynote session. Over to you, ma'am, for your initial thought.
Thank you. Thank you to RCAT for the opportunity, and it's a pleasure to be here today. It's a very interesting topic. It's a globally emerging topic. The focus is actually on creating right solutions for the aging population to ensure that they lead a healthy and peaceful life and they live in prosperity also. The basics first, when we're talking about solutions for the aging population, like a lot of the problem statements that we all see on a daily basis in our own home environment. We are surrounded with the kind of systems that we have in our country, that where we are very closely connected with the senior citizens in the families, and we also have young children in the family. Then we also have middle-aged people also living in the same environment. But the best observations on the challenges or the problem statements faced by the senior citizens or the older population in the home front, if you see, the observations or the challenges are well understood by the youngsters. And the kids at home, they connect so well, and then, they try to understand. And you find in our own family settings where elders are learning the digital tools from the young kids at home. At least I'm talking about the urban scenario. I'm not even talking about the rural settings. In the urban scenarios, the senior citizens of today are also using some digital tools. They little digital savvy. I won't say that they understand digital technologies very well. So when we're talking about senior citizens, the aging population, they also need devices which are connected, operated with IoT, like, the hardware devices. I need not get into all that because Mr. Vashish's presentation is so elaborate and he has captured everything. So they also need some software-based solutions like health tech solutions. They also need to have access to fintech, because their essential services is what they also need to have some solutions on retail tech solutions. So their basic needs, where they should be in a position to use banking services or some financial institutions from banks where they can do their transactions. So they need the technologies everywhere in their daily routine. They also need to have access to good health tech solutions, where they can opt for some virtual care as and when needed, and some care delivery happening in the home settings and virtually connected to the family members and the others and the dependents in the family, where they can also monitor the health and health of the senior citizens remotely. They also need to address their essential, like basic essentials, like whether they can order food online, they can buy certain things online and sitting at home, or their daily needs and essentials. So there is a digital footprint, a digital connect with their daily routine. So do we have the technologies available in the country and whether they are actually able to address their basic needs first. I'm talking about essentials. I'm not even getting into the very high end solutions. So they need basic technologies, voice based, where they can interact, video based, they can chat with the family members, they can participate in all the conversations virtually. So these are all the solutions that the markets needs. We do have, it's all, in a fragmented manner. So what is actually needed in the country? Sometimes I feel that a grand challenge initiatives from the governments calling for some innovations into technologies which are purely need based. So that is a focus that we need to build. We know that there is a gap because at least 20 years from now, I'm telling you, we will all need a very strong digital footprint. A decade from now, 10, 15 years from now, we are also going to hit the same markets. Today, we have young population and all energetic population. But then, 2 decades from now, our requirements may be different. The technologies that are needed today for the current profile of the senior citizens is different. The technologies we may require 5 to 10 years from now is different. So the innovations have to come from the academic settings. By and large, you see the lot of innovations are happening from the innovation hubs from the academic settings. So it is the young minds who are capable of understanding the problem statements of the seniors, elderly population, understand their basic essentials, whether it is fintech, health tech, medtech, or something to do with their shopping, whatever it is, or communication technologies. The needs have to be understood, mapped well, and then, the solutions have to be really focused upon. And at the end of the day, the digital has to be affordable. Digital technologies, accessibility will be there, but then the affordability is a big question because post COVID, the senior citizens spend on all this digital technologies is also actually also is on the rise. So affordability is very critical and ensuring that all these technologies and solutions are also authentic because we are dealing with senior citizens. So handling the safety side of all these things is very, very critical. So with this, I would like to leave the forum open for others also.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you made very important points that understanding the problem statement and making them affordable as well. And you'll be happy to know that RCAT works with the philosophy of affordability, accessibility, and inclusivity in IT education and training. So our ecosystem, just to add a little bit of 10 seconds, that 3 institutions have been developed recently in that ecosystem. That is Rajasthan Institute of Advanced Learning, R&D based institute, RCAT, which is now Rajiv Gandhi Center of Advanced Technology, 8 months old. And then there is a FinTech, Rajiv Gandhi FinTech Digital Institute, kind of a university level institute. So these 3 advanced technology institutions are very, very keen on following that affordability, accessibility, and inclusivity. Thank you for highlighting that.
Thank you.
After Ramaji has highlighted that, may I invite Vedant Ahluwalia, who is CEO of DataWeb Technologies, working across a wide range of technology stacks in AI, AR, VR, mobile, web technologies, and he especially focuses on technology that can be scalable. He has industry-wide experience with several large successful enterprises, including unicorns, startups, and has established large companies across a variety of sectors in advanced technology and emerging technologies. Over to Vedantji. Vedantji, are we audible to you?
Me as well? Can you hear me? Not. It's going through. Hello?
Yes, you are audible.
It's audible now? Perfect, perfect. Right. So I'll just start.
There may be some audio issue there. If you switch off a video also, do you have any presentation with you? Vedantji, we'll come back to you, sir. And please see if your audio is working. And I will come back to Himanshu Jain. Himanshu is a serial entrepreneur, engineer, angel investor, mentor, and maker from India. He has been a healthcare services entrepreneur, having co-founded Diabito in 2012, which was acquired by Livonjo Health Inc. in 2017. He was heading the India operation for Livonjo until 2020, and he's currently building Khayal, a platform to empower, engage, and educate senior citizens. So, I would like to, Vedantji, are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You go ahead, and then we'll invite Himanshuji after you. Vedantji.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Okay, let me know if I disconnect, but basically, I wanted to add points on specifically thanking everyone for their contributions on the topic and adding great views, everyone's viewpoint on understanding how technology is really not meeting the needs really comes from both the presentations we've seen till there's a lot of value that's meant to be had and created by creating the right solutions for the senior citizens. So my background is specifically in artificial intelligence. I've done my master's and worked with Dr. Andrew Ng over there, who is essentially the man behind major technologies of today, starting right from the self-driving car to technologies that include ChatGPT, Google eyeglasses that can scan your eyes and tell you if you'll get heart attack or cancer in the next 5 years. And all such technologies stem from this one topic called deep learning, which is essentially the innovation about giving a computer a brain. And I'd worked specifically on that technology during my time at Stanford, also taught at Stanford and on Coursera, the same machine learning course. So the perspective I'd like to bring to this topic is how do we create technology and how do we really bridge this gap for senior citizens in creating technologies that are native to them. Because what happens when we create technologies is we use current days platforms, we use websites, we use apps, which are really not native for senior citizens. And we need to kind of bridge that gap by going to more detailed solutions like computer vision, where cameras can really identify what a senior citizen wants, using artificial intelligence, be able to predict what he needs, whether his blood pressure is rising, whether some temperature changes are happening, whether there's some breathing difficulties, using IoT and AI together to be able to predict any potential sort of health hazard. That is the sort of thinking we need in the youth and in a lot of people that are creating solutions right now. Because for senior citizens to incorporate technology, technology needs to be seamless. For us, it's really been an intervention point where we are actually ingrained with using it through phones and websites or whatever sort of technology we get. But for that generation to be able to adopt, it has to be part of their life. Changing their life to adopt technology is more challenging than making technology adapt itself to fit into their life. So the touch points have to be so native that they're able to predict what they would like and kind of work in that manner so that it fits within their framework of working with technology. So that's something which requires a lot of innovation, a lot of user study, a lot of design thinking, and new sort of problem-solving abilities. So specifically, a couple of use cases we've been looking at significantly in medical and providing medical care at scale is one of the biggest problems in rural is about getting qualified medical experts, getting qualified medical doctors in rural. And even if we do get a doctor in rural, what are the chances that his knowledge on the specific disease that the patient has come with is of that standard that he can actually treat or even guide the patient? So in such situations where it adds more value to have good medical knowledge at scale, and that's where we propose a deep learning AI brain that can really store information about such diseases that can make it available to, of course, senior citizens and citizens at large, where they can actually get care they need immediately and correctly, no matter where they are. Because having sort of trial and error approach or making guesses based on not enough data can really cause more harm than good. So this is the sort of innovation that the youth, the new students coming up, need to start planning and thinking on, and not just thinking about using plain vanilla solutions or looking at technology that exists, adapting it to solve the problem. We have to rethink the problem and rethink how we'll solve the solution to achieve the outcome. Because in the end, making technology is straightforward. People make technology, but how many technologies actually solve the problem? And that is what mindset we need to start having when we look at solving these problems for senior citizens. We need to really go towards understanding how they think, how they work, and how we can fit these technologies within their lifestyle. So Stanford recently invented a patch. So right now we're in the era of IoT-based medical diagnostics, and everyone's looking at jackets and sort of different sort of IoT devices. But Stanford invented a small patch that you put on your arm, and based on that, all your vital data can be shared on the cloud to any doctor that you need to be alerted to. So that sort of innovation needs to come in where the innovation is seamless. It doesn't really require you to change your lifestyle, change your habits, but a small insertion can kind of allow you to be better tracked and better helped in this new technology era. So that's just a small intro and brief from my side. Kamlakanchi, anything else you'd like me to add? Otherwise, we can continue.
Yes, we'll come back to you. That was good as a broad overview, your initiation. And as a Stanford graduate engineer, we have great hope that you would also keep innovating for our older adults who are now around 10% of the total population, standing at 140 million. And that number will definitely be rising, though we are now considered as a young country around the world, having the average age around 29 and 30. So, but there's group for 60 plus group. So, as you are working with the different technologies, I would like just a brief 10-second introduction. Like RCAT has partnered with several tech leaders, and I would like to just to share this one like RCAT website, so you will have just knowledge of what we are doing. Just 1 second for that, then we will go back to our next speaker. Is this visible?
Almost.
Yes, it's getting connected. Yeah.
Right. So this is RCAT, and we can definitely later on visit the site whenever you feel like.
Is it getting loaded? Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting loaded. So, right. Okay. So, thank you, Vedanji, on that.
Thank you.
We have Rojana, madam, who has joined from Canada. So, we'll go back to her after Himanshuji. Himanshuji, over to you. I'll just introduce briefly to the audience. Himanshuji, you are a serial entrepreneur. You have started Khayal, the app for senior citizens, and you also claimed that this is the number one app in the country. So, tell us something about why, like Rama ma'am was saying, like there is fintech, there is medtech, there is health tech, there are several technology interventions for senior citizens that is possible, and emerging tech is playing a very important role in there. So, why did you think that such an app will be useful for our senior citizens, and what has been your experience so far?
Thanks a lot, Professor Kamlakant. I mean, thanks for giving this opportunity, to come and, talk to all of you guys. This is a, wonderful thing that you have organized. And I feel we need more and more builders to come and build in this space. Because this is going to be a very big problem. Aging is definitely, the rising population of the elderly is going to become a huge, huge problem. And I think even the government recognizes it. A lot of people are recognizing it. I mean, with all my past experience when I was building Diabito, which was towards catering to the needs of people living with diabetes, we were trying to help them with enabling much better care in form of remote monitoring and then providing diabetes coaching to them. During that time, we realized that seniors generally struggle a lot with all the devices around them. And at the same time, I could see this problem even at home. My dad, he's 75 plus, and he often struggles with things on his phone. He would always, call me up for all the needs. So whenever I used to travel abroad for work, in spite of us living together as a family, he would still call me up because I am his primary caregiver at home, and he's a person who's living with multiple chronic conditions. So that's what made me realize that there should be a solution where children are being able to provide from wherever they are, and hence Khayal. So the aim of Khayal is to be able to help your elderly from wherever you are, and which is why we are building an app which is basically bridging the gap between the parent and child relationship, and also connecting families to help each other. And at the same time, what we are trying to do, we have created like a super app for seniors. Now, the super app basically helps in educating seniors on how to use various technologies. That's the first and most primary part of the whole equation. Because if you can make them independent and if you can make them self-sustained, they can actually do a lot more. So that awareness has to be created. And this is one of the major battles that all of us will have to, solve for. So, which is why we started off with that. So we started off building a very large size community of seniors. We started engaging them on WhatsApp. We started creating workshops for them, and our content became so popular that seniors went on and kept sharing our community with other friends, and that's how we became such a large community of more than 3 lakh senior citizens on the Khayal app. And the thing is that we have to understand this, that seniors have a lot of time, and at the same time they, after post retirement, they need some sort of an engagement in terms of either employment or something to do meaningful in life, sort of like a purpose in life, right? And if they continue doing things further, they're also much they fare much better in terms of their health. And that's why we said, there are different personas when it comes to a senior citizen. So, you will see the, age group of 55 to 65 behave differently. People with the age group of 70 plus behave differently. They have different type of needs. And if you have to cater to all these needs, you will need to build something which is in a form of a super app so that you can, provide something which is catering to all the different personas of senior citizens. And which is why what we did is that we have created a very nice intersection between healthcare and fintech as well, because we saw that seniors are afraid of doing online transactions. This is because of the online digital fraud which happens with them. So if you see, in our country, the most vulnerable when it comes to digital fraud are the elderly people, and because of this they are becoming fearful of doing online transactions. At the same time, seniors love the idea of saving, right? Because they don't have any sources of income at this point of time, so they want to save money in order to lead a better lifestyle. So they struggle to find all the senior citizens discount because it is not very easy for them to discover. And at
Manojji,
the
I'm
same
showing
time,
it on the screen.
exactly. Yeah, I can see. Thank you for that. But at the same time, the third big complaint that seniors had was that, the credit card companies don't offer credit card to senior citizens. Why? Because they don't have source of income. And which leads back again to the same problem that, if people like us, if we have to discover new offers or any type of coupon codes, we generally get it on our credit cards. So if you don't get a card, you don't get your offers. And then when a fraud actually happens with senior citizens, the fraudster generally tries to attempt a fraud on the primary bank account. So, in order to cater to that, we created something called as a Khayal card. Now, the Khayal card comes with a cyber protection plan to make senior citizens much more comfortable. This can be gifted by children to their parents. It is a prepaid card, so there's no credit limit involved in this. You have to add money to be able to utilize it, but it comes with all the senior citizen offers. So for the offers which we are providing is through all the partnerships with healthcare players, with various other folks who, all the products and services which basically a senior can consume. And at the same time, we have gamified the whole system using Khayal coins. So the thing is that what we've done is that we are helping seniors in terms of engaging them with meaningful content. We are helping them in creating awareness, and then we are also helping them in enabling commerce, so then they can become much more independent. And at the same time, this happens in in between the families. So children can add money here, they can send money whenever seniors are falling short of money. And oftentimes seniors hesitate in terms of asking help from their children, but through this app they come to know, like children like me, we come to know that our parents are falling short of money, and then we can send it to them. So we are solving a lot of problems with Khayal by building a super app. And I feel that we need more builders in this space, and which is why we are partnering up with all the people who are building in this space, so that we can curate and bring the best products and services to the elderly people. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Himanshuji. Um, I also was sharing the screen website of CAL while we were speaking. So hope people might have got a sense of it. And this is a very good initiative. And this is a startup where you have social entrepreneurship in mind, kind of catering to community need and creating a viable business out of it. So as the number of our senior citizens increase and the digital divide also gets lesser, there will be much more productive things to connect through digital platforms. Rosanna, ma'am, are you there? Uh, are we audible to you?
Yes, I'm here.
So, is your video working, ma'am?
I can allow it now. Yeah.
Yeah, please. So if you can, so please, I would like to say a few words about your work. Rosanna Penela Varocha, General Manager, Emerald Retirement Residence, Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. As an experienced business development manager with more than 3 decades of experience in healthcare industry across the world, Dubai, Germany, Canada, USA, and several other countries in Europe. She has a passion to serve and deliver high quality care to patients with a focus on senior citizens. And as a home care provider, she has gained valuable experience managing a team and ensuring the provision of exceptional care to her clients. And she uses technology, empathy, care for senior citizens, or whatever name you call them, elderly, aged care, or our older adults. Over to you, ma'am. What is your experience in the context of Canada? How do you see that the aged care is transforming through technology intervention? And in Japan, just a caveat, in Japan, the policymakers are struggling whether social robots can play any role in active aged care. And some have said yes, some are saying still robots lack empathy. So over to
Okay.
you, ma'am.
So, good evening to everyone over there. I am here in Canada, and of course, this is early morning here. I'm not sure if my video is working towards your side.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, as per your introduction, yes, I would agree that, there's a big challenge about having to accept technology for some of the older adults. So, I come from a background of healthcare, from Dubai to Canada, and now I am really doing uh, hands-on with most of the seniors that we have here in our facility. So first and foremost, in the beginning, that it was very hard to accept technology. For most of them are not very computer savvy or not savvy at all when it comes to technology. But slowly as the years go by, I have noticed that from 2010, most of our older adults here have started to like a few things, especially social media, because it solves a little bit of their problems when it comes to being out of touch. And most of all, during the height of the pandemic, the the seniors started to learn as well how to communicate and using their cell phones or their laptops. And of course, one of the things that I have incorporated in the activities that I had with the seniors was to engage the younger generation. So I've invited people who are, teens and as well as in the in colleges to come to our facility so that they can mix and mingle with our older adults. So one of the things that I really have done for the seniors are, of course, to create an account, for Zoom meeting or even social media, Facebook, which is the easier part, or FaceTime. So most of the seniors as well, being helped by their families, they also have bought their own cell phones. So their cell phones are equipped with, whatever face-to-face interaction would be available to them. And they started liking that. They really, really enjoyed that, that even though they are in lockdown, they can still communicate with their family members. So another thing that I really like to mention is that here in Canada, because of we still have a lot of older adults who are able and capable of driving themselves around, especially like in scooters, for example. So they also have bought some gadgets that they can use with with just the press of their fingers. And so they've learned to know how to get around on their scooters using their GPS. When it comes to care, there's a few different things that we applied on the care. So I'm just going to go backtrack to my home care experience. When I was doing a home care, that means, I send my personal support workers to the homes of those older adults staying in their own homes. And at that time, the major challenge is that trust. Um, when you leave your loved ones to another person or another caregiver or to a company, you just don't buy in, what they tell you, so that they think that, okay, how do we know that you are treating my mom or my dad or my grandpa, my grandma, yeah, fairly and, kind. So at that time, we were able to incorporate some cameras to be connected to the laptop or to their phone. So therefore that they now can see whether or not their parents are asleep or working with the caregiver at home. That solved that problem of being you know. Worried about who's looking after my mom and are they being treated well. And the other thing too, what makes it easy for this is for the family caregiver is that they also know that if there is something that would happen when they are away, there is also that gadget that you can use as a bracelet or if not as a pendant, and therefore that could tell them whether the older adult has fallen or not. So those are the things that really just became very helpful when it comes to not being side by side with your loved one. So of course there's also another sector which is now they have decided to live outside their home, which is now they go into probably a retirement residence like the one that I'm managing right now, and or they can go to some nursing homes or long-term care. So when it comes to retirement residence, so you have two different options here. So for now, in my case, I have a independent lifestyle, and the other group of people here are those who are assisted. So for those assisted, they were dependent or the bracelet, so that we know whether they something had happened, or if they need help, they can press the button, and of course our nursing station will be alarmed, and one of them will come up and check our residents. So that gives them a response time of within 3 to 5 minutes, because if they're coming from somewhere, so and they have to travel. The other thing too that I would like to share with you is something that we called Activity Pro. So when, of course, you have a resident who are needing some help, it is also important that they have some activities. And before, most of the seniors who are staying at home, they would go into a community center where they can join some groups culturally, or if not, just they mingle with everyone. And they do whatever dancing or music, painting, whatnot that they can, or walking. So as for us, we do an in-house activity program, and we have just recently uh, implemented this in our system, and this is the Activity Pro. And what it does is basically it gives you a full calendar of the things that we can do for our residents, as well as a reporting on what they have done, how much they have progressed per week, per month, and that also we can upload some of the photos that we take, pictures during the activity time, and that we can send it to the family members. If not, the family members also can be given a login, and they can access just the file of the loved one that who's residing with us. So that's one of the things that we do. Now we have another app that I think so. This could be useful for you guys too. So in with us, we have started using the e-menu. The e-menu basically gives you a weekly glance on what meals to be served. So in that case, so we provide pictures of what we would serve, and the residents will just have to press each picture of what they would like to eat. Because sometimes here are the challenges. So when we have, say, for example, when we were using the calling service, so our front desk will call and say, sir, what would you like to have for breakfast or for lunch or for dinner? And then we discuss the option one and option two. There's always two options. So therefore, sometimes they basically don't understand what they can't remember anymore. How does it look like sometimes? But with the picture, they can tell that, yeah, this one is the thing that I like. So that solves the problem and gets them excited to come to the dining hall and to eat, because it's important also that they are well nourished. So those are the two major apps that we're using. However, I also would like to include that Canada is also very, very much engaged in the improvements of technology to develop more more technologies to be applied not only for the care, but also for the healthcare professionals who will be looking after the older adults. So one of the things that I really would like to share with you, this was not used before, but just like yesterday, I have signed one application that from I think so from June, that even X-ray, a mobile X-ray, will be coming now to our seniors. You know that one of the things that um, they worry about is that how do I go see my doctor? Why do I have to go to the hospital for the X-ray and things like that? Because you see, they sometimes do not have a good day, and that there's pains and of course some sort of like discomfort that they feel, and that they don't feel like going out sometimes, right? So having ultrasound and X-ray to be done right here in their own private suite that give us the management give us also um, a safe safety and security that our residents will be taken care of, because we know that it's just within the house, and plus we will get the results basically within 2 days. Whereas, traveling, we have to arrange for some transportation to get them there. And Fortunately, in Canada too, we can arrange transportation for those who are um, on wheelchair, and that therefore, that also had to be booked. Yeah, so for most of the time, I think so. What we can say about some new technologies and some help that we're getting from the government is that it basically help us to um, facilitate the treatment right away. It gives us also that uh, opportunity to connect with healthcare professionals without leaving our facility. And of course, there's a sharing of information based on who is going to help the resident who needs help. And as for us, we have our in-house doctor who comes to our residents and give a proper consultation to our residents, and therefore that makes it easy. But one thing that I would like to mention about is they have talked on having a consultation with doctors by Zoom and all that. Yes, of course, that was a temporary solution during the height of the pandemic. However, most of our older adults would still prefer to be seen by the doctor. So there's, in terms of challenges, I think I really would like to agree with every one of you who had already said that affordability is one of the questions. As we all know, in Canada, once you become a retired citizen, uh, you are now going to be receiving your pension and all other benefits that you're going to be receiving from the government. Of course, there are also, some people who already have made their investments, and they have other incomes as well. So, but most of the older adults here, just like anywhere else, they need help in terms of care. They need help with their social life. They need help with finances. So one of the things too that we need to mention about, I guess we all do take care of, healthcare, but also part of the healthcare too is about um, mental health. And so, loneliness is very high when it comes to, living alone. Most of the older adults here have already lost their loved one or their partners, for a very long time, and that becomes very lonely for them. Then also there's another portion of seniors who uh, basically are just by themselves because all of their siblings have passed away and their loved ones, and also they did not have any children during their productive years, and so there's so many things that we really have to think about when it comes to mental health. So one of the solutions that some of bright minds and thinking about activating some sex life of the older adults is a dating app. And so I know for a fact that some of the people I know have found a new companion by using the dating app. So when it comes to seniors, of course, the younger older adults, which means like they're just 65 years old to 70. Most of them are very active. In my home here, we have had the oldest one is 107 years old, and she departed like she was a queen. And also I have about three of my residents who will be turning 100. So these years, uh, we are all living longer. And of course, as we live longer, we have to ensure that we have the right resources to sustain our remaining years. So that's all for now that I can share with you. If you have any questions about retirement residence, about assisted living, and all that, please feel free to contact me.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That gives a broad overview of Canadian ecosystem. While you have shared your personal story and engagement with your friends who are your inmates, kind of companion in that way, they stay with you and you help them in several ways in fighting loneliness, fighting health, fighting aging, and becoming happy, and also looking at companionship and perhaps marriage, and also so this is all happening in Canada, but perhaps the time is shorter this time to understand in fully context, the full context of Canadian technological policy and intervention in the senior citizen. In India we call them senior citizens. Even is saying call them older adults, so in the older adults lives. And thank you, Rosanna, ma'am, for your brief intervention. And thank you early morning joining us. And you must be heading towards your work. And thank you. We will definitely get back to you. If you have any questions also later on, we'll definitely forward that to you. Thank you. And from Rajiv Gandhi Center of Advanced Technology, Department of IT and Communication, Government of Rajasthan, we're all grateful that you joined. And we will be getting back to you soon. Thank you so much. Namaste. Um, Over to Tanishtha. So Tanishtha is a young entrepreneur who had started Wisdom Circle. Then we'll go back to Geeta Madam, who is a researcher in artificial intelligence and machine learning. I'll just read a little bit about Tanishtha. Tanishtha is head of the education vertical and partnerships at Wisdom Circle, an early stage startup building the world's largest platform to connect skilled retired professionals with meaningful work post retirement. So, this is a digital platform. Over the last 13 years, she has played a variety of leadership roles in the education sector across non-profit and for-profits in different stages of their own growth. She is an alumna of IIT Bombay and Harvard University's Graduate School of Education. Over to Tanishtha ma'am. Are you there, Tanishtha ma'am?
Hi, thank you so much, Professor Kamlakant, for that introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to come present. And I must say, I'm just an employee at Wisdom Circle. Our founder is Mr. Neeraj Sagar, who's an ex-Egon Zender senior partner. And we're a young startup about 1.5 years old. And we are about 25 people now. And I'd love to share more, but just to begin, thanks again for this opportunity to be here, and it's been wonderful listening to everyone share about the amazing work that's happening across the world towards the well-being of older adults. um, and yeah uh, so we've been speaking a lot about so many of the requirements of older adults, right? Across health, across finance, across the need for social connection. And one of the genesis of the idea of Wisdom Circle, which happens to be a platform that connects experienced, skilled professionals, typically over the age of 50 and about to retire or retired, with meaningful opportunities post retirement to work, right? Usually paying opportunities. So one of the genesis of this idea is in the fact that um, there seem one, of course, that there are so many people who are living longer increasingly, right? But there is a difference between lifespan and health span. And it's according to some reports, by 2050, there's probably going to be more people over the age of 60 than under the age of 14. Um, a lot of the things happening in the world to cater to the requirements of this audience happens to be something that we, at least at Wisdom Circle, think about as world to the Wisgen. We call them Wisgen, right? The wisdom generation, people over 50. That's what we refer to them as. So it tends to be, a lot of services that the world gives to the Wisgen for a better, healthier life, which is very important. And then there's a lot that is enabled for Wisgen to connect with each other, to be connected and to live better lives. What Wisdom Circle is trying to do is to enable the Wisgen to give to the world, right? We believe that at 50 there is and beyond, till even 75, 80, as long as one is feeling healthy, right? And the health span in the world is also increasingly increasing. There is a lot that the wisdom can continue to contribute to the world. um, Retirement age around the world still is what it is, while countries across the world are rethinking retirement age and the concept of retirement itself. Hence, if you noticed in the website that Professor Kamalakant is sharing, there's this hashtag retiring retirement that we talk about there at the top somewhere. So we are about retiring the idea of retirement, right? Why do you need to retire? Maybe you don't want to work at the same pace that you used to. Maybe people want to work for 20 hours a week in a part-time sort of way, right? uh, some people might be interested in continuing to work full time as well, and that is what we enable at Wisdom Circle. And at the heart of the idea is that, and a lot of other speakers who've spoken so far touched upon it. At the heart of the idea is stemming cognitive decline. The idea that if you continue to be engaged meaningfully, uh, your not just physical health but also mental health, overall health improves if you continue to be meaningfully engaged in work that feels relevant to you. Also, intergenerational connect, right? Being able to work with young people, mentor young people, teach younger people, or just other people, right? Also has a very positive impact on people's health. And that's what these are all parts of the reason that we are so excited about what we do at Wisdom Circle to connect those above the age of 50 with meaningful post-retirement work opportunities. But what are these opportunities? So we focus on three main areas for these opportunities: something that we call domain, and then education, which I look after along with a small team, and social impact, right? So domain refers to opportunities that are of functional expertise, right? Whether it's finance or marketing or HR operations, right? So domain is all about opportunities with corporates of varying sizes, large MNCs to MSMEs to young startups, right? So skills that basically take a lifetime to build and perfect. People with those skills often help these organizations to lead greenfield projects. Startups have hired and are hiring CTOs and CMOs via us, right? At the moment, we have about 11,000 and counting retired professionals on our platform, and above 150 organizations that have signed up to hire via us. And a large percentage of the same people who are domain experts, right? Not just them, but just all of amongst all of these 11,000 people, a very large number are very motivated to give back to society. That's the other motivation. One motivation, if it is to just stay relevant and have respect based on the skills that you have a lifetime of experience around. The other big motivation to want to keep working post retirement is this desire to give back. And often the desire to give back manifests itself as wanting to teach, which is why education is a separate focus area, and which is why I'm so excited to be speaking to this audience, which is full of students and educators, right, across a variety of domains. So, and not just education, but other organization with other social aspects, whether it's related to the environment, water, women's welfare, whatever it is, right? So now, specifically in education. We focus on many things, but one thing that we are finding a lot of traction around is the idea of professor of practice, the recent UGC guideline, which talks about being able to hire on contract professors who may not have a PhD but have relevant industry experience. Typically, just 15 years or more of experience is fine, but 25, 30 years of experience is also good. And we are finding universities quite open to be hiring these professors via us. At the present, we are focusing on business schools and engineering schools. And we hope to expand that in the future. If anyone else in this audience would love to, explore any of these ideas with us, please feel free to reach out, especially if you are an educational organization and you would find value in WisGen, those of the wisdom generation, teaching what they know and have built expertise in over a lifetime. I invite you to connect with me. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much. Wisdomcircle.com is us. That's what Professor Kamalakant was sharing. Do check out the website. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanishtaji. Rama ma'am has shared that professor of practice is now more practice. It is not just, so it's a practice means it has become a policy by the UGC. So thanks for taking that forward. Subhash, you wanted to say something?
No, thank you very much.
So last but not least, we have academic expert, Dr. Geetaji, working as an associate professor at Manipal University, Jaipur. She has teaching experience more than 15 years. And her PhD in computer engineering from NSIT University of Delhi. She has been editor of books and several research articles and patents. Published in high quality peer reviewed journals in SPI and Scopus indexed ones. More than 10 patents and 18 copyrights on software applications and advancements in artificial intelligence. I'm very keen to understand what work she has been doing regarding to senior citizens, older adults, healthcare interventions, and as a computer science engineer, we find so much similar given the work that RCAT does in advanced technology and emerging technologies. Over to Dr. Geeta.
And thank you so much, Professor Kamalakant, for inviting me and for providing me such a wonderful opportunity where I could hear such a learned people who shared such wonderful ideas, how older adults can connect with each other, even how we can connect them with the different platforms, and even what are the opportunities available to them. We are, as a researcher, what we are doing, we are working basically on healthcare. So in healthcare, the basic fundamental aspect that is to be taken care is telemedicine. What we are facing at our homes, that more or less we have to take our older people to hospitals now and then. And this may be challenging for the working people like us. So for that scenario, telemedicine can help a lot. For that purpose, what we have done, we have created a deep learning based model that can be trained on a particular disease. Right now, we have created for lung infections. So any type of lung infection, it can disease, and it can save the data into two folders. One is healthy and another one is diseased. And now this folder can be shared on the cloud with the doctor, and the doctor can access the details and can provide further recommendations. This is one aspect of working. Another thing that we are working is, for example, the people who are senior citizens, they may have some fear of technology. They don't want to connect with technology. So in that scenario, we need the technology that is single button touch. Just they can touch the button and they can look for their facility. For that, we are working on creating some application that even on the face click or on the photograph, by capturing the photograph, the app can guide them for the next part. Similarly, another part that we can think of is like safe medicine or pill box. There are some pill box tools available which can organize the medications, and they can set the visual reminders and alerts to them. Similarly, if we look about other opportunities, for example, MediSafe is available. So this is the medication management app that can send them reminders and track pill intakes, and even provide the information about drug interaction, when the drug should be taken, when it should not be taken, and if some side effect is there, it can track that side effect as well. So similarly, such kind of tools, some are available, and there are a lot of things to do in this field. Another more important thing that we learned about is Silver Sneakers Go. This is the application that helps older adults to check their fitness challenges, and even it provides some instructions how to stay fit. Similarly, if we talk about some other applications, like LD application is there. So LD application is user-friendly application that simplifies the internet browsing, emails, and video calls. Because what we feel at our homes, the older adults are not so much convenient in using the technology. So that's why we need such applications which are friendly to them, which that can help them in browsing, sending emails, even just by the voice mail can be sent to the concerned person. It can find the contacts. More or less, also we feel that in older age, digital literacy is less. Even there are physical limitations which which avoid them or which restrict them to use the technology. Like vision is poor, hearing impairments may be there, body weakness may be there, lack of coordination among different body organs may be there. So we are working in finding such dimensions where we can work and where we can develop such applications and such tools which can be used even after the impairments of the body, or vision impairment or the other impairments. Even we are trying to work in the direction which can remove the fear of technology, or even that doesn't require any technical support. We people don't need to connect these devices with them, rather they can use it as a handy tool. So we are trying to work in that direction. Similarly, some existing apps are also there to help them. For example, if we want to train with the cognitive skills, then Lumosity is most well-known application which can be used as a game for the older adults. Similarly, another app if we talk about, then AARP is an app which provide news, health tips, and even resources which the older adults require. Other than that, some assistive technologies that needs to be worked upon, that are based on the voice activated assistants. However, the voice assistants are available, but still these should be more friendly to older adults. So improvement or scope of research is always available. Some of the tools which are already available in the market for them are like Reacher and Grabber. what it is this. For example, the person is sitting on the bed and he or she is not able to get up to find to help something which is away from it. So this tool can be used as a handy tool which they can use to meet their requirements. Similarly, phones, already phones are available, but there is a need that the buttons on the phones should be large enough so that even the people, older adults, have the visual impairment, but still they can look into it and they can work upon it. Other than that, some hearing aid devices already available, but some more research and development is required that can help them to connect, automatically connect with the Bluetooth, and even they can connect this hearing aid devices with the phone, TV, and other devices. However, things are going on and research is going on, but still there is a huge gap between the real time development and real time usage of these tools. Whatever we feel as a researcher, that a lot of things are there and we research a lot, we try to develop tools, prototypes, but still a lot of approvals are required, huge data set is required for training these AI based tools, and there should be some organization that should bridge this gap, that can provide this data and that can provide the approvals and even that can help actually to reach the technology from research to the older adults, and that's much requirement of the time as we feel. Thank you so much. This is all from my side, and this is open for the questions.
Thank you, Dr. Digita. They are very, very important information that you have given. Some of our attendees have privately been chatting that we need whatever ma'am is saying, that short acronyms that you are saying. So, ma'am, RCAT is launching a blog, and we would like to have blogs from all our panelists. And the apps that you have identified, the platforms that you have talked about, the facilities or the philosophies and practices that are being talked about, or the patents that you have worked on, you can perhaps write a 500, 700 to 1,000 word blog that we'll be happy to host that, talking about how these platforms, apps, and technologies are helping our senior citizens in India and around the world. Thank you for that researcher insight. We have startups, entrepreneurs, advocates like Subhash ji, who advocates about the medical industries, the medtech industry from IMED perspective. And then we have Ramaji, who also is an advocate and consultant. We have Tanistha and Himanshu, like people who are young and dynamic and still entrepreneurs. Then we have Rosanna, who is herself running a senior citizen house kind of retirement. So we have got different kind of flavor of the discussion. Now, broad discussion, we would like to summarize that as well and final comment. Before going for final comments from our panelists, I would like to invite my Executive Director, Madam Jyoti Ropadia ji, who is the driving force behind this RCAT. Ma'am, are you there? Are we audible to you? If we're audible to you, then please, we would like to listen from your experience and message to every one of us. So we both have female leaders, both Vinita Srivastava and Jyoti Lukadia. Vinita ma'am, are we audible to you? Are you there? So by the time they respond, we would like to say thank you to everyone. But last thought, I have few queries on this to all our distinguished panelists. First point of concern that United Nations, which is the umbrella body and intergovernmental agency for the world, talking about sustainable development goals, 17 goals are there. RCAT works through technology to achieve a few of these goals, and our international engagement is based on that principle as well. And you'll be happy to know that we have 11 technology OEM partners who are offering globally recognized certifications in advanced and emerging technologies that enables our students, people who study with us, enables them to get better job opportunities, also understand what other entrepreneurship opportunity exists by using that technology. So this is a new initiative. We need your support and guidance as we move forward. So my first question is this: United Nations doesn't have a dedicated older adults agency. It has for children. It has for women, even women. It has UNICEF. So the time has come. As around the world in Europe and elsewhere, we can see the rise of population in the age bracket of 60 plus is visible, and people have started talking about robots being useful to senior citizens as well. So there is a lot of loneliness, a lot of isolation, a lot of disconnection, and digital technology perhaps is a medium or a platform or a catalyst kind of thing. But as a whole, the society has to take deep interest both through policy and technology and schemes as well. So this is something that we need to think up. That is point number one. Second is we are thinking of kind of a Jaipur declaration that digital technology for older adults and healthy aging that I have shared with my panelists, and they have so happily endorsed to that, and we'll keep working with our stakeholders to make this a reality. At a later time, perhaps when the document is final, we'll perhaps release it. This is two. And third, out of these presentations, how do you see that in context of India, other than maybe LIC doing something, RBI talking about older citizens being aware, and then talking about how to be safe and secure. So, where is that one convergent senior citizen platform which takes care of health, finance, mental health, productive community engagement that Tanishtha madam talking about, and giving back. People want to give back. There are some people who are senior citizens, and some people do not like that word as well. Don't call me senior citizen. I'm a citizen, but not a senior citizen. So do you think if you're a junior citizen? So people don't like that word, also senior citizen. People sometimes don't also, if I offer that seat in a bus or train, they don't want to take. Do you think I'm an old man? That's why you're giving seat. Now I can stand. So that kind of confidence, self-respect, what kind of convergence that perhaps India needs. So these are few burst, not very well connected thoughts, but a few observations. I would like to start with Subhashji, because given your experience of advocacy, so specifically on medical technology, but you have worked across sectors. What do you see senior citizens or aging population going through, and what government and industry, especially academia and technology, need to do? Over to you. Brief comments.
You're not audible?
It's audible now? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Kamalkanji, actually, just to give my perspective on this, especially in India, since I'm working with academia, many of IITs, basically CSIR and industries as a representative of AMED. In India itself, we have a big gap between academia, research, and between industries, and definitely in government. And this gap is too wide, especially for healthcare. I'll give an example. Maybe I don't know whether I should name or not name. Take an example of because many of the institutions like AIMS, the doctors, when we interact, they feel frustrated that the technology, what they're looking for, is not being manufactured and developed in India. And they feel that they can do that job, but they're not engineers. They're doctors, but they're not able to develop it. Similar way, you see IITs, our IITs, most of our IITs are focusing on developing medical devices. Me and Raman are actually part of some of these projects. So they are actually developing medical devices, and they feel that they are able to do it, but they don't have any clinical knowledge. They don't have any health knowledge. So there is a big gap actually, and both these academy as well as actually is in healthcare. Both these professionals, they don't understand that for developing medical technology, what regulation they have to follow, what process they have to follow. So there is a big gap, be frank, number one. And we are working actually to bridge the gap as an association, in many ways. And however, since I was actually part of I was actually working in the US, this gap is across world. Only the thing is scale is different, so like in Canada or in the US, this gap is less between academia and other things. So like government of India, we are funding a lot more on research and development for these academia. However, these academia, the money is going, but the question is whether they are developing medical technology which is needed by industries. There is a question mark, big question mark, and vice versa. In similar way, when I talk about older population or aging population, this subject is a big question mark for health industries across the world. Why? Because the landscape is changing. The landscape is changing from say 10% to 22% in the next roughly about say 40-45 years. Now the point is, if the landscape is changing, it means the current practice of medical practice or procedures or the way we treat, the way we handle patients, everything is going to go for a change because the complete dynamics of even for diseases are changing. And I don't feel that we are really have a proper plan in place in India, for actually handling these changes at this point in time. But yes, effort, we appreciate actually a lot of good effort in last 2-3 years actually on the medical device technology, and especially on the aging population of the healthcare, the initiative taken by government at this point in time. And I think that's the reason to accelerate all these efforts as an aim, and we always actually push through that there has to be a separate actual regulation for medical devices. There should be a separate a ministry or maybe department actually to run the complete focused approach actually on the medical device technology, because this is only the way. If end-to-end academia, ministry, medical device industries, if we all put together end-to-end, if we work actually on this mission and if we want to be successful, then there has to be a focused department, focused actually function, which is working actually on these things. So I see as a big gap, but I see a big opportunity at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We thank profoundly to Subhash Vasist sir and his team at IMED for giving us time and for also approving the knowledge partnership. As Subhash ji was kind enough to partner with our team at the Rajasthan Institute of Advanced Learning to develop a discussion paper on medtech and its future. So that paper is a industry approved paper, and people who need to read that, please get back to us. We'll share that paper as well. Over to others, and maybe you can take a minute or two each to share your final comments on what do you think of the questions that we have raised and questions the other panelists have raised. Keeping it short will be good so that we can have a vote of thanks by 6. We have another 10 minutes to go. Over to Ramaji. You're not audible, ma'am.
Apologies. So convergence will happen when initiatives are coming from the ministry. So we do have a Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, which deals with the senior citizens in the country. So we do have a policy. It was just in March 2023. The latest initiatives are also launched. They have launched a helpline. These are basic initiatives to help the senior citizens. Some of these portals like Sage, they have introduced to drive innovations or technologies for the senior citizens. So what we need to do is, if you go to the finance ministry, you have a policy for senior citizens. Like every ministry has got its own policy for senior citizens. So under this Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, this is the ministry which deals with the senior citizens. We need to bring the convergence from all other ministries and let us understand the initiatives under various ministries. And then, collectively trying to understand, say, technological intervention, yes, it is needed, but beyond that, there are many other things are also, as I was mentioning, there's a hardware device, there's a software device, and the needs are different. So from a policy level, then there's the policy in the country, there's a ministry in the country, there are policies at various ministerial levels. Let us try to first understand all this and then try to start mapping, interconnecting, and ensure that all these initiatives have meaningful impacts. Otherwise, working in silos, each ministry coming out with its own kind of policies and implementation will add up to the confusion. So let us understand, because many things have got to start from the top, from the policy level. So let's all work towards that. The convergence should actually start at that level. Thank you so much.
That's a very sharp, good point there. And as we plan to meet again, maybe offline to discuss or privately to discuss about creating a policy paper or discussion paper in this digital technology for older adults and healthy aging. So all our panelists are invited to contribute to their ideas, and maybe a compendium or a handbook can be developed looking at the convergence. So the convergence can be one particular way forward. So and that discussion can happen. Right. Over to Rosanna, ma'am. I see you are about to leave for your work or something. Any final comments you have?
Well, yeah, so the work started already, but it's okay because I already informed my team that I will probably not be able to, be on my at my desk on time. That's no problem. What would you like me to answer for you?
Any final thought that you have heard of all of us that we're talking about convergence, we're talking about means the convergence in the sense of IT, mental health, education, philanthropy, they're being together so that senior citizens, whatever their needs are, they're one window solution. As you said, someone said technology fear. How to deal with the technology fear, one button technology. So like that one window system, we talk about one window facility. So like that, how do you see convergence happening in Canada on senior citizens?
In Canada, I think we, as per my experience, we do have the different organizations using new technologies, and of course, this is also uh, in alignment with what the Ministry of Health is doing. So as per retirement residences and long-term care here facilities, we do have two different organizations who basically we follow most of the directives and when things happen. So one of them is the RHRA. RHRA stands for Retirement Home Regulatory Authorities, which governs all the retirement residents here to follow what is in the Bill of Rights in terms of treating the seniors. Treating, which means their rights, on what they can, what we should do for them. And so the RHRA is the advocate. So I have no idea whether it is existing in India. And then of course we do have ORCA, which is also another institution, which basically aligns all of us that any workers for healthcare, for retirement residence and long-term care. We do go trainings under the umbrella of ORCA. So ORCA stands for Ontario Retirement Communities Authorities, which means that they have implemented modules on how to take care of the seniors, which includes preventing fraud, and also behavioral. So there's a lot of modules that each and every one of us who work in a retirement residence setting or in a long-term care or nursing care that we have to go through and must pass. So before we can basically put that person, the caregiver or the personal support worker or the nurse, to start their shift. And so, as you said, they're working together. I know that there's still a lot more to be improved. And of course, the Ministry of Health also is working together with the province of Ontario. And just recently, they have also granted more funds in terms of innovation and technology, and as well as just like what I mentioned earlier, that they are engaging private clinics, just like the ones who are doing X-ray, ultrasound, or ECG, to now come to the retirement residences and to the homes of the seniors. So just to make it more convenient and to respond quicker instead of waiting in lines and not sure, when they will be, taken into, the X-ray room or ultrasound. As you know, hospitals all the time have very long lines, and this makes it very tiring for the seniors to sit down there and wait. So I guess I can see some sort of like positivity even at the end. So right now, there's a lot of apps that's already have come out. There's a lot of different gadgets that's already out, and it's just about implementing. And of course, it is about the older adults communities to whether purchase it or not. As I said, due to the fixed income, it's not going to be very easy for them to access all of this unless otherwise the government is basically subsidizing the the fees for these services. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. Thank you, everyone. I will go back to one by one our panelists remaining. Himanshu Jain, our CAL founder. Any last word before you leave?
No, I mean, you guys everybody here has covered so many different topics, and it was wonderful attending this session. I think it is also a great opportunity for us to learn from all the, respected people from the industry. And I feel that, more and more young people should come forward and start building for this population. And it needs more innovation. So, yeah, thanks.
Right. Gita ma'am.
Sir, I strongly agree with the points that shared by Subhas sir, because there is a huge gap between the academics, industry, and the medical experts. What medical experts wants, that must be communicated to the academics, and whatever research is coming from the academics, that must be deliberated to the industry and medical experts, so that fruitful outcome can come and it can lead to the people in low cost.
Right.
That's the requirement of the day, as I feel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vedant, any final thought on that?
So I wanted to talk about something in medical technology which some of you might be aware, but nanobots is something that's coming up in a very big way, which will really change the face of senior care. So Google has published a recent article saying by 2030, we will achieve immortality. So, given that the context of treatment of senior citizens will completely change because a lot of the problems we're having today will cease to exist. Since nanobots, again, is a technology that uses AI and uses deep learning, lot of different technologies to be able to detect and combat cells that cause cancer, artery blockages, and other things. So, we should be ready for a ever changing world in front of us. The problems of today are not the problems of tomorrow. And what we really need to understand is how fast we can change, how fast we can react. And the more technology we use, the simpler it becomes to drive change. And really, medtech is one of those spaces which Steve Jobs has famously said that the biggest inventions come at the intersection of fields. And medtech is one of those fields where bringing technology into medical can really transform lives in a very big way. So that would be what I'd like to end on. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. And you have talked about immortality. That's very interesting for many people. So, Tanishtaji.
Not much to add, but I think just one bit, which is it's so exciting to see this ecosystem building. Just personally, 1.5 years ago, I didn't know that age tech existed, and now that I am part of Wisdom Circle and just listening and getting to know so much, I'm just so excited to be part of this growing field, and the ecosystem is just so warm. I just feel it's the warmest ecosystem. It's not cutthroat like the others somehow. Like so there is much hope for all the collaboration that everyone's asking for. Just so excited to be a part of this space. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing all that good work. Over to Jyoti ma'am and Vinita ma'am.
Hi, Kiki. Thank you. This was really a great, insightful session. And today only I came to know that there are various modalities where there we need to look after for our senior citizens, especially our parents. And I also look how the technology actually make the life useful to them. There are various startups and NGOs that are working towards making the life comfortable, uh, access their amenities, make them a good part of the life, where they can also access all kind of comfort and amenities. So in that case, I think this is very important that technology should also reach to all our senior citizens. As you know that Rajiv Gandhi Center of Advanced Technology is a finishing school for um, giving the 360-degree of personality development along with the courses on the advanced technology and emerging technologies. So I'm sure that instead of just um, concentrating or giving the whole focus to the youngster, we should also go forward for our senior citizens. We should also have a various awareness programs for them, so that technology would also be the medium for them to access all their all the portals and everything and every digital world. Thank you, KK. This was a very nicely moderated session. Thank you, Subhash sir. Uh, Thanks for your sites about the ecosystem developed for the senior citizen in India. I'm also thankful to where other panelists, Ms. Rosanna, Ram, Venugopal, Vedant, Geeta ji, Himanshu ji, and Tanishta ji. Uh, this was very insightful for all of our students who attended this session. Now they could understand the technology to be given or given the access to their older parents, grandparents. Uh, Thanks the whole RCAT team for organizing such sessions for the state. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, KK.
Thank you. Thank you. As you can see on the screen, we have 11 partners and counting. Adobe, Apple, Autofina Robotics, Cisco, EC Council, Microsoft, Oracle, Fitech, Red Hat, SAS India, and VMware. And you see the courses that are being offered there. So, and these are the popular technologies we're working: robotics, data analytics, network security, cyber security, machine learning, infrastructure, which virtual, like little bit of advertisement of the institution that we're working for. And it's a very lofty ideals that the institution holds to create 1 million trained, advanced technology trained the youth force or in Rajasthan and India and the world. So we're starting with Rajasthan, having a national and global vision as well. And we're reaching out to international partners. So people in our panels, please feel free to connect with us. We are going to take it forward. And last two bit of information, we are offering up to 100% scholarship for our students to pursue courses at RCAT. These are the OEMs that I just read out their names. And another thing, we're offering an internship, very, very interesting internship formula where students can do internship at a very nominal fees and get trained in several technologies as well. We're also offering faculty development programs for faculty members in Rajasthan, and also it can be offered virtually to other institutions as well in India and the world. So on behalf of Rajiv Gandhi Center for Advanced Technology, I'm Mr. K.K. Das and my team, Vayu Batu, Soumya, Himanshu, Shuman, Lakshmikant, and everyone else at RCAT, say thank you to all of you. And not just to say thank you, but thank you from grateful as well, so that we continue to stay in touch and develop this ecosystem, help contribute into that as well in policy making, in technology innovation, patenting, and perhaps also in implementation as well and convergence.